Hello and welcome back to the channel. Excuse the attire, but you join me during very varying weather conditions for a trip up to the Lake District. And I thought, what better opportunity to test out the Astra GTC, do a sort of a 2-year review and see what the car is like and how it performs during a camping trip. What's the boot capacity like? Is it suitable for those everyday tasks? And is it also fun along the way? Let's see how we get on. So I'm excited to say I've recently moved back into TVR ownership, a 4-litre straight 6 Tuscan to be precise, and that meant I was able to hang on to the Astra. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, I had two options that I was excited to explore. It was either buy a performance daily driver, i.e. M2 competition, maybe one of the new C63s, and I was really drawn to the Audi TT RS, the latest generation. Those cars just seem absolutely awesome. Or it was buy something even more special like the Tuscan and keep that for shows, Sunday drives, and keep it something that is really special to drive, and therefore keep the Astra as a daily. And that's obviously what I opted for, and for now I'm pleased with my decision. The Tuscan is absolutely fantastic, and I will get it on the channel as soon as possible so you can hear it at least. But for now, we're having a second look at the Astra GTC, and in a cost of living crisis, this is the sort of car that people are interested in. Your Lamborghinis, the Porsches, the supercars that you're so used to seeing your favourite YouTubers review, that ultimately is entertainment, and hopefully this channel is entertaining, but also I actually wanted to have a practical kind of help in buying cars. Available with 5 different engine types. I would say the one that I'm in is the coolest, which is the 1.6 litre turbo, putting out about 180 brake. So it's the same engine that they use in the slightly juicier Corsa VXR, which puts out 230 brake horsepower, which I'm sure I could achieve through tuning and maybe an intake on this, but it's just not something I'm interested in doing. It is absolutely perfect for what I'm doing now, a trip up to the Lake District in Cumbria here in the UK that a lot of viewers will be familiar with. So it's also available in different guises in terms of diesel and a 1.4 non-turboed petrol, so there are options to suit every man. This morning was a very early start, so the first thing to do was obviously pack the boot. An impressive 330 litre boot capacity, so it does make this car practical for family getaways and camping trips such as I'm on. As I make my way to the first campsite on my 300-mile journey, the Astra GTC is a really nice place to be. Obviously it shares a similar platform with the Astra, but it is totally revised and has a lot of its own unique DNA. So there's some really nice bits in here: DAB radio, cruise control, part leather seats with this nice white stitching, plenty of storage space in the centre consoles. Almost all the cars have the 6-speed manual, with only a few of the engine options being an automatic. I really like the manual element of this car. The gear stick is not a sporty one, it's a long throw, there's no kind of positive click, certainly jumping out of a TVR, but the gear shift is okay. Does it feel like it can take a lot more power? 230 brake in the Corsa maybe, but not really. The gear shift is okay, it does its job, but it's not particularly luxurious or positive. But that doesn't take away from the overall drive of this car. It's suspension that is shared with the VXR Insignia. It makes the car feel very planted. As long as you've got good tyres on here, there is a real positive feel to the steering. There is no real understeer, and you're confident where you are placing the car on the road. So when you do start to push on some of these cooler roads up here in Cumbria, you do get very positive feedback and a confidence when pushing on. Performance wise, no one's claiming that this is a high performance car, but it feels very eager. I think it's a really good solid engine. There's plenty of power to do what you need to do, overtaking, getting up some of the steeper hills up here in the Lake District, and I would say the performance matches the type and the class of car that it is. Okay, so I'm approaching my first of 2 campsites for my 4-night trip away. So I'm going to get my tent set up and I'll check in with you guys again later. Okay, I was very lucky to get some nice weather while setting up my tent and getting out for a couple of days walking, and now we are in the rain onto the next campsite. Now, the sound of the Astra GTC, well, this is it. So I don't really know what you'll get through the microphone there. I am using purely my mobile phone here. It's a nice, very muted mix of the engine, the turbo and the exhaust. So you would really have to go down the route of massively changing the exhaust to make this sound good. But I like that it's a car that really presses on with not a lot of noise. So it's quite understated, but the turbo does have a fairly decent kick to it. It has a 180 brake horsepower kick to it. If you're used to driving faster cars than that, then you'll be very underwhelmed. But if you're used to driving cars similar to it in this class, then it really is not bad. Again, coming up to a corner, I've got confidence in the brakes here. Change down to second, come out the apex. A little bit of a loss of grip there on the front tyres, but considering how wet it is, actually it's really confidence inspiring, and due to that suspension from the VXR Insignia, it puts the power down really nicely. It's really nicely composed on the roads. Along with the multimedia, the cruise control is easily set and adjusted by the steering wheel mounted buttons, and the LCD screen will give you lots of information about the car, such as the remaining oil life, the instantaneous fuel consumption, the average fuel consumption, and ability to set and adjust various things. So I hope that was useful for somebody. Thank you to everyone who subscribed so far, and I will catch you in the next video.